All right, so a couple days ago, I live streamed cooking chicken marsala with roast broccolini and mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna walk through the whole entire steps to making it. I'll list all the ingredients and the measurements in either the first comment or in the description. But here I'm taking 4 boneless, skinless chicken thighs and just liberally seasoning it with kosher salt and black pepper and setting it aside. Oh, I'm patting it dry first. That's also important because that ensures thorough browning. But then after that, we season and set aside while we prepare everything else. While that's undergoing a bit of a dry brine, we're going to slice our mushrooms and some garlic. We're just chopping 2 cloves of garlic, 1 clove for the mushrooms, and 1 clove we're going to let it steep in some olive oil, and that's going to be tossed in broccolini later. Now, while I was actually slicing those mushrooms, I have actually been preheating the skillet on medium heat for quite a while, and that is actually a really important piece because that actually helps prevent the meat from sticking. So, uh, dropped in about, say, a quarter cup of olive oil, and then dredging the chicken thighs in some flour, and just laying it cut side down first. So I actually have 4 chicken thighs, but in this skillet, I'm only able to fit 3. So I'm just going to put in 3, and it's really important not to overcrowd it. I'm just going to let it cook, and as it cooks, they will shrink, and that'll make room for the third one. I mean, fourth one. So we're going to brown each side about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. It's honestly up to you on how brown you want it to be. In terms of cooking it all the way through thoroughly, don't worry about that part because that's actually coming later on after we make the sauce. Now, in that pan is all the schmaltz and the chicken juices and crisped up floury goodness that we're tossing in the cremini mushrooms and the garlic. And we're going to add in a little bit of salt and pepper and make sure that the mushrooms are coated evenly in the oil. And then we're going to cover and let it steam up real quick. So as the mushrooms steam up, they're going to shrink and they're going to exude a lot of water and moisture, and that's going to uh, just allow it to cook. And we're going to then remove our cover and let that water reduce away so that we concentrate its flavors a little bit more. When most of the moisture has evaporated away, we're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're going to mix it in. Make sure that all that flour gets dissolved in the oil. And what this does is this allows us to create a little bit of a blonde roux that'll make the marsala sauce a little bit more gravy-like. Now, this next is entirely optional. I'm removing the mushrooms from the pan before I add Marsala wine to the pan. And this actually prevents any alcohol flavor from residing, getting absorbed into the flour and the mushrooms. The primary reason is if you live with somebody who does not like alcohol flavor in their food at all. Okay, now the Marsala quote unquote wine that I'm using is a little bit blasphemous. It's actually the McCormick Holland House wine, which is actually a really watered down, like fortified wine. If you use real Marsala wine, it's actually a lot more syrupy and a lot more tasty, in my opinion. But this is the wine of choice in our household here. And so we're going to pour that wine in here and we're going to use a spatula to scrape all the goodness, make sure none of that stuff is sticking to the pan. And then as this reaches a boil, we're going to let it reduce. In the meantime, we actually had 2 russet potatoes that we were baking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit in the toaster oven for about an hour and a half. And I actually like making mashed potatoes with baked potatoes for 2 reasons. One is I actually think that they get better flavor if you use mashed potatoes, and it's actually worth the time. And it's not time that you're really actively cooking anyway, so why not? But the real sneaky reason is now I got some really nice potato skins that I can drop in some cheese and put back in the oven, and I'll have some nice potato skin snacks on my hands. For the mashed potatoes, I am only adding some heavy cream, and that's about it. I think the gravy from the marsala is going to provide enough salt and flavor, And the potatoes are also providing a lot of natural salt anyway. But yeah, I mean, you can add garlic powder, butter, salt and pepper, whatever. I'm not your mom. All right, so now the wine is pretty reduced. Um, we're not, again, it's fortified wine. We're not going to do the whole wooden spoon test with this one. We're adding a pat of butter and then adding the mushroom roux mixture back in. And you can see here how it's thickening everything into a nice syrupy gravy sauce. All right, so everything's mixed in, and now we're going to add our chicken back in. I'm going to make sure that it gets tossed in the sauce pretty evenly so that the sauce flavors the chicken flavors the sauce, and the chicken gets cooked all the way through. We're going to let it sit covered for about 10-15 minutes. Meanwhile, we're making our potato skin snacks in the toaster oven in the background there. So I realized that I did not film roasting the broccolini at all because I am at this moment plating the mashed potatoes and the broccolini. So what I did was took the olive oil infused with garlic, tossed it in the broccolini, and then put it in the toaster oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10-15 minutes until it reached the level of doneness that I liked it. If you like it a little bit crispier, go for 15 minutes. If you don't like it crispy, then go for 10 minutes. Haha, potato skin snack for the chef. But yeah, that by this point you can check for doneness for your chicken thighs, and all that's left is to plate it. And yeah, definitely use that Marsala sauce for mashed potatoes gravy. That's the stuff. And there you have it, a complete meal of chicken marsala with mashed potatoes and roast broccolini. If you want to see any more live streams, definitely subscribe to the TikTok channel, and I'll post unedited streams on YouTube and do more of these audio commentaries.